And now we move on to Jimmy Lawson taking on Kevin Szaflarski. I'm so sorry if I said the name wrong, but I'm gonna be picking Kevin Szaflarski in this one here. But I'm gonna say it right now: there's no winners in this matchup for predictors like me, because if I pick Jimmy Lawson, Kevin Szaflarski probably wins dominantly, but if I pick Kevin Szaflarski, Jimmy Lawson probably wins by KO in the first minute of the fight. I mean, I'm not too sure how it's gonna go, because I could be picking Kevin Szaflarski and give you all the reasons why I am, which I will. And then Jimmy Lawson, which this is his record right now, he's on a 3-fight KO streak, and all of those fights have lasted less than a minute. In total, really. I mean, quick maths, that is over a minute right there. But anyway, he's literally spent a minute in the cage, more or less, in his last 3 fights, and he's won them all by KO. Now, Jimmy Lawson, he is a D1 wrestler, and he is from Penn State, the same state that Bo Nickel is from. But I've only ever seen him land one takedown in his whole MMA career, which is interesting. And but to be fair to him, it is because he's too busy beating his opponents to a pulp. But this guy's just MMA experience in general isn't at the same amount as Kevin Szaflarski, who is a very good prospect in my opinion. This guy went 9-0 as an amateur, picking up an IMMAF World Championship in there somewhere in 2015, or at least competing in the World Champs. I don't know if you won it against a guy that was debuting. That wouldn't make a lot of sense, but yeah, he's got good competition, I guess, in the amateur leagues, albeit over debuting guys. So a lot of question marks there, but the point is there is experience there for sure. And then when he debuted, he lost by injury, and he's been undefeated since then. He hasn't been fighting the greatest competition, to be fair, but since then he's picked it up a little bit, man. And this guy, I like it. I like the fact that he's skilled. He's very skilled for a heavyweight. He does have somewhat decent footwork for a guy that is 6'6". He's got a good jab on him. He's super long. He's got an 81-inch reach compared to Jimmy Lawson, who does have a 79-inch reach, to be fair. But Kevin Szaflarski is 6'6", and he's a big guy. He can keep the fight on the feet if he wants it. He does have good takedown defense, but Jimmy Lawson might be able to test him with that wrestling if we see him go to it. And even then, we've seen a good, well-rounded skill set out of Szaflarski as well in his career. We've seen him win a couple of times by submission, 5 times by submission, in fact. So this guy can get a submission if he wants to. He can even drag it out to a decision if he wants to as well, which is somewhat rare to see in a heavyweight. But I think that Kevin Szaflarski is just a much more skilled MMA fighter out of the two. I think Jimmy Lawson's obviously going to have a bit of a wrestling advantage, but Szaflarski in his career has shown some pretty good takedown defense. And even then, as I said, Jimmy Lawson, he starts fast, he throws bombs, and I think there's a very good chance this guy does catch Kevin Szaflarski. Makes me look like a complete fool. I mean, the thing is, like, I researched Cedric Hayes Dumas versus Matej Pinaz a lot, and that fight was over within a minute, and it's like, man, like, all that research for 1 minute of fight. But yeah, I picked Dumas. But anyway, that's completely off topic. The point is, I'm picking Kevin Szaflarski. I think he's the more skilled fighter out of the two. He's got a good jab. He can keep the fight at range if he wants to. He's got submission threat as well, even if the fight does get to the mat. I think Jimmy Lawson, if he gets the fight down and he ends up on top and he stays on top, he could definitely find a win there. He could definitely find a win by KO in the first 30 seconds like he has in his last couple of fights. But I think that Kevin Szaflarski, as I said, just the more skilled, more experienced heavyweight out of the two, and I think they should be able to get the job done. The winner gets signed, I almost guarantee it. The UFC needs heavyweights. They've literally got like 40 heavyweights on their roster. I think even less than that maybe. They need heavyweights. Winner gets signed, no questions asked for sure. So yeah, I think Kevin Szaflarski should be a pretty good addition to the roster as well. 6'6" heavyweight. That's a tall guy, man. So let's see what he can do in this fight.